Did you know that the civil rights movement was, other than abortion, the worst thing that ever happened to the blacks?
No, I don't agree with that.
And why not?
I don't see why it would be the worst thing to ever happen to the blacks. Being able to have desegregation and being able to be treated like a full and equal human in society, although we still have our issues and systematic racism still exists, a lot of good came from the civil rights era.
I grew up in Alabama, as I said, during the time that so-called Jim Crow law existed. I remember for colors on it, for whites on it, blah, 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 kind of water fountain and all that. But the blacks were doing better then than they are today in that they bought land, they owned homes, they went to universities if they wanted to, they had trades, when the kids left home, graduated, left home, they started businesses, they bought homes. And the Jim Crow law existed. But it brought the best out of the blacks because they had to do for themselves, right? They couldn't blame someone else, and they did the best. They would be like the Jews are today had not the civil rights movement happened. And but when the civil rights movement happened, the blacks gave up their families for the government. They gave up their becoming an individual for the so-called black leaders like Martin Luther King and Jesse Lee Peterson, all those people. They turned their lives over to them. And those people told them, racism is this, y'all can't make it, y'all need us, y'all need this. And the blacks have gone downhill ever since. They have never returned back to normal. Have you noticed that?
I completely disagree with that.
Why?
It's just
what
not
part
true.
of that you disagree with?
How have blacks gone downhill? Black women particularly are the most educated demographic of people in the whole country. In 2023, that's an improvement because there were times where we weren't even allowed to go to school prior to, certain things being protected.
When were you not allowed to go to school? There were
women.
As a result of the segregation, they were creating black universities and things like that, which brought out the best in blacks then. And then the education that they were getting is much better than the education they're getting out of black schools because, how black folks are, they don't care. But
I disagree.
the education was no good. And if you notice, the black women who are getting the so-called education, it's putting them on a false pedestal, and they think they're better than everybody. Now they're lonely, they're lost, they're angry, and nobody want to deal with them. So they got worse rather than getting better.
I completely disagree. I know plenty of black women who are happily married and educated. I'm going to my friend Tati's wedding next weekend. Black woman, black man.
She educated?
Has a master's degree, and she's getting married a black man.
But educated women don't make for good wives and good mothers.
I completely disagree with that.
Why is that?
It's just not true. It's sexist. It's a lot of misogyny in there, and it's just not true.
What's not true about that?
Why does education stop you from being a good mother? Explain to me why having an education means you're not a good mother.
Because a woman that's educated, she thinks she's equal to a man, and so she's gonna want to go to work. She's gonna try to make the man become the woman at the house. She's not gonna want to obey her husband.
Why would a man become a woman because a man, is he not also going to work?
Because a woman that's educated think that she should work and not be at home raising his children and clean, keep the house going and things like that. And they don't care about the children. Educated women don't care about the children. They're going to throw them off in a daycare center just so they could get their ego fulfillment. So they don't really make for good wives and good mothers.
Yeah, I completely disagree with that.
Why do you disagree with that?
Because it's just not true. I know a lot of women who are educated. My mother was very educated. She went to school and she raised me well to now I too have a master's degree. I have my pick of the litter. There are plenty of men that want me. I can guarantee you that. And I have my own business, so it works.
But you haven't mentioned what's good about internet. None of that.
I think she raised
at all that's a good thing.
She raised a happy, healthy, functioning adult that was able to grow a business while being educated and
nothing good about that.
What's wrong with it? What's bad about it?
We're talking about a woman staying home and raising a man's children.
You're not explaining your point on how that makes her a bad mother. Like where does she go wrong?
By trying to fulfill her ego.
But where
thinking
did
that
it
she's
not
equal
work?
to a man rather than having the love of raising a man's children, being there for the children and being there for the.
Are you saying that women who have an education can't raise their kids?
Right.
Why?
because they on an ego trip. They try to go to prove that they are like
So
a man.
who raised
Would you?
me?
Would you ever? Are you planning to get married one day?
Yeah,
Would you ever obey your husband?
sure.
You would stay home. You would let all
I
this
would not
education
stay at
stuff
home.
go.
Yeah, I'm not staying at home
Why?
because I don't want to.
Well, why get married if you don't love your husband, your children enough to stay home and watch over his children?
I don't even want children, so
Oh, you don't
I'm
want
gonna
children?
be married with my husband, traveling the world, and living my best life.
So why get married then?
Why
you
not?
can do
I
that.
want
Staying
partnership
single.
and companionship. I want to build, again, marriage does come with certain things, like you are tied to that person, you can buy homes together, you have better credit, your taxes is lower. There's a lot of benefits to marriage that aren't based on having children.
But those are selfish benefits.
So I'm selfish.
Oh, see, yeah. And you were raised by a single woman, right?
I was raised by a married woman.
But she didn't stay home,
So,
right? She didn't stay home and raise you.
what's your
I
point?
rest my case.
What's your point? I feel like it worked. I'm fine. Like if your argument were true, that would mean that my mother would have had to fail in some way, right? That would have meant that she didn't do a good job raising me, that I had some sort of troubles, I wasn't able to succeed in life, and that like her status, because eventually my parents did get divorced, and that did not have a negative effect on me being able to grow up and
Did they
become a
get divorced
successful,
while you were
thriving-
young?
Yeah,
While you were still living at home?
correct.
Oh, I thought you said you were raised by both parents.
For a little bit. Then they got
So
divorced.
you weren't raised by both parents. See, I told you, educated women don't make for good wives and good mother. And
disagree.
now you're an adult. If you got married, number one, you're not going to obey your husband. Number two, you don't want to have children. There's no reason to get married.
To you.
Because you can party by yourself like that. You have friends, and you can take your male friends with you and everything.
To you.
Isn't that right?
To you, there's no reason to get married to you, but there's going to be, for me, I still see a reason.
Do you believe, did you go to a black university?
No.
Which one you went to?
University of North Texas.
North Texas. Do you believe that a woman should stay home and raise the man children?
I believe that women are allowed to make whatever choice makes them the most happy, feel the most fulfilled, and feel the most safe. If they're staying at home, then stay at home. If you don't want to, then you don't have to.
Do you believe that they should stay at home and raise the man children?
If they want to. I don't believe, again, we talked about freedom. I really believe in freedom. So I believe
Right.
in, if that's what a woman wants to do you, boo. And if you don't, then don't.
But do you believe she should, since she got married, she should obey her husband and stay home and raise his children?
I believe she should do whatever she wants. That's what I believe.
And not what he wants?
Correct.
Really, not what her husband wants?
Right. As the husband should do whatever he wants to do because we're autonomous people with freedom, right?
Do you believe that a woman should obey her husband?
She should do whatever she wants to do. Whatever works in
No,
that
I'm asking you,
household.
what do you believe? Do you personally believe that a woman should obey her husband?
I don't like the word obey. I believe in communication, collaboration, and whatever makes the most sense for your household. So if the husband wants to lead the household and the woman believes that's what makes the most sense for their household and they come to an agreement on that, a meeting of the minds, and they agree that's how their household should be ran, then that's how it should be ran. But again, I believe in meeting of the minds, communication, and collaboration. Whatever works for one might not work for another family unit. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors in somebody's home. So whatever makes the most sense for their marriage to succeed is what they should do.
Amazing. You don't like the word obey, you say?
Yeah, obey sounds, again, I believe women are equal to men. So we're just going to disagree on that.
And so what's wrong with the word obey?
Because obey sounds like an authority.
It is.
And I
A
don't believe-
dictator.
Yeah, and my
And
husband
being
should not
supposed
be a
to
dictator.
dictate in the home.
Completely disagree.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you close to your father now? Mm-hmm. Did you forgive him for leaving you with your mother?
Yeah.
The what?
Did I forgive my dad? Sure.
For leaving you with your mother, letting her destroy you like that?
I'm not destroyed.
You're not?
What about this? I'm not destroyed.
Really? Where did your anger come from
What anger?
that you have?
What anger?
Do you have anger?
No.
You have no anger.
Anger about what?
Do you ever get angry?
Have I ever felt the emotion anger?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And where did that come from?
What, me ever feeling angry? When
How
someone
did you
upset me?
how did you develop the emotion of anger?
Just like any other normal person. If something's upset me, I have a full spectrum of emotions. I feel very happy, I feel peaceful, I feel joyful. There are some times where I feel sad. There's some times where I feel upset, I feel angry, I feel scared, I feel frightened, I feel anxious. We all have a very wide variety of emotions that we all can experience.
Is that a normal way to live?
Absolutely.
Really?
You should be able to be emotionally intelligent and be able to identify
See, this
how
is
you're
different.
feeling.
This is different between men and women. It's abnormal for a man to be emotional. Any man that has anger is a woman, because you know how the mothers pass their identities to the children. She recreate them in her image, and so any man that have an emotions is that of his mother. And that's why he has to overcome it so he can bring his woman out of that kind of hell. That's a hard way to live, to have all those.
That's the best way to live, and I think more men should be emotionally intelligent and be able to experience emotions other than just happy and angry.
But emotions are evil
Why?
because they're of your father, the devil.
Okay, well, we can move on because I just completely disagree with that.
You do?
Yeah.
Are you a Christian?
Yeah, I grew up Christian.
Well, Christ said that a woman should obey her husband. Was he wrong too?
Sure.
Christ was wrong?
Yeah.
The God you believe in was wrong when he said that.
Sure.
Amazing. Are you a millennial?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a millennium. Oh.